Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I have a couple of new Charlotte Tilbury products to try. I fell in love with this Beautiful Skin foundation when she released it earlier this year. So when I knew she was coming out with a accompanying concealer, I was like, yes, Charlotte, let me have it. And there is a new pressed powder as well. So these are the things I'm trying on today. I'm going to start by putting this on. I wear the lightest shade in this foundation sometimes. Maybe it was more in the springtime. I feel like it was a little light. It might be just perfect for me now because I unintentionally catch just a little extra sun in the warmer months. But I'm going to throw this on and we'll be right back. I was delighted when I heard that Charlotte was putting out a new concealer. I like that this is a traditional tube with a doe foot applicator. Her other two concealers are different. The Magic Away has a cushion tip. Mine doesn't have the cushion anymore because it didn't work that well for me. And then the Retoucher is one that has a brush tip. Mine's kind of gross and gooed up. But I have tried a lot of Charlotte's base products. This is one I'm excited about. First of all, medium coverage. The Retoucher is light coverage. The Magic Away is a little bit heavier. So I am delighted that we're getting kind of like traditional concealer packaging. I feel like this is going to be really easy to apply and it's going to be really easy to blend because it's medium. So I'm just going to swipe a little bit here. I have the lightest shade. I got shade 1 because I wear shade 1 in the foundation and I was like, yeah, let's start there. I usually take just a few seconds with my finger to just kind of distribute this where I want it before I go straight to my beauty blender. I feel like when I go in with a blending sponge, I tend to have problems where it picks up more than I want and I don't get the product distributed how I want. So I can use less concealer if I use my finger to kind of distribute it, and then I can go in and pounce away with this. This concealer is supposed to have some skincare ingredients in it. It has niacinamide, it has a vitamin C, it has hyaluronic acid. It's supposed to kind of be like shapewear for your face. I think it looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna blend the other side. The older I get, the more I find less is more when it comes to concealer under the eye. I like a full coverage concealer, but if I can get a medium to buildable concealer to work well for me, that has a good formula and is a good color match, I usually go with less is more. And instead of applying like a lot of it, just to very carefully targeted areas. I feel like it's doing a pretty good job. I feel like I need just a little bit more like right here. I'm also gonna try and cover up some of my redness and this hyperpigmentation spot. I have a couple of these around my face that I always bring a little extra coverage to. When I first pulled this out, I was a little bit concerned as I put it on my face because it seems so much lighter than the shade of foundation I had going on. If you're looking at it, here is shade number 1 in the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, and here is shade 1 in the Beautiful Skin Foundation. So the foundation is just a hair deeper. This is supposed to be the fairest shade with a neutral undertone. I feel like they have that going on pretty good here. I'm just gonna blend a little bit here of the edge. The one thing I'm noticing as I'm feeling this formula, it's a little bit drier. The texture is not as wet as the foundation. You see how glowy the foundation is straight out of the tube? You don't get that same level of glow from here. Now, that doesn't mean it's not radiant. It just means that it has a slightly different finish to it, which to me bodes well. Because when I put something this shiny and this glowy underneath my eyes, guess what? We start slipping and sliding. It's like, I'm gonna make us on a slip and slide. It's just kind of going all over the place. I feel like the fact that this is not quite as shiny, and it has a little bit more, when I'm feeling it, a little bit more of kind of like a resistance to it. It kind of grips my finger a little bit once I'm kind of going over my hand. I think that's actually really good because it means it's going to stay in place. Now, I did put it over the Magic Vanish. I have always really liked this product, but this tends to be just a hair more emollient than the concealer. So I'm curious to see how it wears throughout the day. I did happen to pick up the new Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finishing Powder. This really, I mean, even in packaging, the shape is the same. It reminds me of the original Airbrush Flawless. The one thing is, this is shade 1 here. And I feel like it would work well, but it feels like it could be just a hair dark for the concealer. And when I use this underneath the eyes, I always struggle with it turning my under eye significantly darker. So I quit using this under the eyes. I feel like she needed a lighter shade. And then she came out with this. And I know it's white, but I have really good experiences with white powders under my eyes. The one from Beauty Pot, I love. I like the one from Pat McGrath. Love, love, love. Repurchased both of those multiple times. So I'm excited. The finish of this has always been one of my favorite things, but I could never get this to look right under my eyes because it always made my concealer look just a little bit darker. So the fact that this is supposed to be brightening, I have high hopes. It's been more than 5 minutes, maybe like 7 minutes since I finished blending with my sponge like my under eye. And as I was about to go and, you know, set it with powder, I usually tap out my under eye, but I'm looking and I'm not finding any product in my fine creases. That's really rare. Anytime I have a radiant concealer, especially since this is a little bit more emollient and this color corrector is on underneath, I sometimes get things kind of settling into those creases. So I'll take a minute to like pat them out with my finger before applying powder. Because if you just put powder over the top of that, you're setting those collections of product in your crinkles. So wow, I don't see any. Hello, I love that. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this here. I never really heavily set my under eye. I am not somebody who enjoys baking. I want a light dusting, but I want to make sure it doesn't really go anywhere else. I'm going to take a slightly larger brush and hit the rest of my cheeks. I'll tell you, I don't feel like I'm getting like a super big white cast. I mean, you let me know what you're seeing on your end, but as I'm putting this on, I don't really feel like my face is turning like Caspery white. I don't know. Some powders that are white really leave behind that look of almost like a white cast. I remember having that with the HD powder from Makeup Forever and other ones that were similar to that. I really tend to like the look of a translucent colorless powder like this. So if I were to run my fingers over it, it looks like this. And then as I blend it in, I don't think you can really see it. I can't see it. I like this. I feel like the look that it leaves on my face is not powdery, but I can definitely tell that this foundation has been set. This powder comes in 2 different shades. This is the fair medium. There's a medium deep, which I feel like, and I don't know for sure, but it kind of reminds me of this. It looks a little bit more like this shade, maybe a hair deeper. I feel like overall, I look pretty good right now. Now that I have the foundation, concealer, and the powder on, I feel like I'm in a good place. What's interesting about this powder claims not only to brighten your skin, but to reduce the appearance of wrinkles and to reduce the appearance of dark circles. Now, dark circles make sense because she's a brightening powder, but the fact that it's supposed to kind of reduce the appearance of wrinkles, I don't know. I feel like that's a really strong claim. The one thing I will tell you is I don't feel like this powder is accentuating any of the fine lines and wrinkles I have underneath my eyes. As a 47-year-old, that is definitely one of the things that I worry about. I feel like it looks really good. I don't know that my fine lines and wrinkles are any more apparent than they would be on a no makeup day. I mean, they're there. I got them. There is no hiding these, and I don't feel like this is creating some sort of magic eraser situation where you can't see what's going on. I feel like, you know, my skin looks like my skin, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for things not to get settled into the crinkles, not to accentuate the dryness and the crepiness I have going on there, but to look like my skin, but perfected. So I feel like this combo so far is doing a really good job. Let me finish putting on my face and I'll be right back. I feel like as I'm looking at my under eyes, man, I'm pretty impressed. The older I get, the more I find not just that concealer settles down in these fine lines, but that powder can do that too, and that there is no creaseless. I feel like, you know, at a certain age, There are always going to be creases, and it's just something I accept. I'm okay with a little bit of things not being exactly where I put them. My goal is for it not all to settle into giant makeup-y creases underneath my eyes, and I'm really impressed with the fact that this isn't doing that. I feel like this powder is not adding any additional texture to my face. It's not making my under eyes look dry, crepey, parched like a desert. I feel like I'm getting exactly what I'm hoping for from a, smoothing, blurring, brightening powder. I feel like this is really doing good things for me. And I feel like the concealer, the fact that the texture is, a little bit, it's interesting to say, but it feels kind of like a little bit grippy. I feel like I have other concealers that are just a little bit more, emollient, but this has hyaluronic acid in it. I feel like it kind of gives a blurred out look. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, it's not the most high coverage concealer that I own. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be a medium coverage concealer, but I find my kind of happy place is between, not too light, not too full coverage, somewhere in the middle. So medium to medium buildable is really perfect. One of the things I forgot to mention about this powder is that, guess what? She's refillable. There's a little hole right here in the pan where you can push it out, which means that you can continue to reuse this packaging, and instead of buying the entire component again, you can buy just the powder. I think that's brilliant. I really feel like moving towards more traditional packaging for a concealer instead of having a cushion tip and a brush tip, I think that's smart. It makes it easy to use. I feel like making products refillable like she has done in the past with her larger pans like this, I feel like that's a really smart thing, and it really kind of takes the pulse of what people are wanting in their products. Moving towards more refillable packaging is fantastic. I also like that this is in a lighter shade. My goal is to check back with you at the end of the day. Right now it is it's 2:20. I started recording this later today because I was waiting for this to actually arrive in the mail. So I wanted to get a full face on, see what it looks like, see what it applies like, but I'm not going to get like the 16-hour wear that this claims. Today I'll probably get 8 or 9 hours before I wash my face and head to bed. But I'm going to continue to play with these products. I'm going to continue to try them, and I will get back to you with a full in-depth review. Right now, man, I'm really impressed with the way my under eyes look. I really feel like they look really good. I'm really impressed with the fact that this is radiant and hydrating without being really slippy, that it kind of stays in place. And I love the fact that this is supposed to help brighten and kind of smooth the look of wrinkles. And I feel like it's giving my under eyes a really nice skin-like look. It looks like my skin, but perfected. That's what I'm going for. I will take a picture by the end of the day to let you know how this wore. Did I get good wear out of the concealer? Did the powder continue to not make me look old? That's kind of what we're going for. I would love to know if Charlotte Tilbury is one of your favorite brands. Is it a brand that you kind of avoid? Are there specific products that you really kind of lean on heavily, that you love and are your constant repurchases, or things that you've tried that you're like, you know what? It's just not for me. Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.